This ain't no mystery. Allah, righteous city. East side to the west side. River to river. Jesus.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to tell this to you. I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but we ran the breakfast program, and this church and the great members of this church and staff have served over 2 million meals to the people of this community. And let me tell you why. The Bible says we should do it. We should feed the hungry. But when I first came home from prison, I was living with my sister, and I stayed with her for a year. I didn't have my own place, and she would cook. She was a really good cook, very good cook. And her husband was an even better cook than she was. And they would make a lot of really good food. All right, welcome everybody to the Trust in the Lord Hour. I'm trusting in the Lord. I pray that you are. But there's no other way to be happy with Jesus than to trust and obey. Well, there are a number of things that have been going on, and I'm going to assign Elder Joseph Smith as the secretary of the Trust in the Lord Hour. And what he'll do is do the research on some of the revelations that Almighty God has given to us over the past, let's say, starting back in November. I think in November when we started getting a plethora of revelations, a word about the Holy Spirit wrapping up His work, etc. So I'll speak with him one-on-one about that, eyeball to eyeball. But they're large, and I haven't been able to keep records because there have been so many things, unlike the outlaw that came on September 14, 1991. That was just one event. We've had a flurry of different things that Almighty God has said recently, and I think we want to put them in some sort of category and organize them. But it's been an extraordinary time. We are in the midst of the tribulation, and it's for your eyes only. And your eyes and ears only, that because people who are not members of the elect, Almighty God has given a prophecy that has precluded them, exempt would be perhaps a wrong way, that has prevented them from knowing we're in the tribulation. Because if they know that we're in the tribulation, then I suppose in the mind of Jesus that somehow or another, they would repent. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but Jesus said in Matthew's gospel, if you want to verify this, 24, starting at about verse 36 to 39, that his return, and which will be the end of the tribulation, will be like on the days of Noah. When Noah went into the ark, they were marrying and getting married, having parties and banquets and chamberlain and all that kind of thing. So they don't know. And he said the tribulation is going to be the exact same way. So what Almighty God has done in his prophecy about the tribulation is that only those who are members of the elect know that we're in it. Now, you'll notice there have been fires out in California. There have been snow down in Louisiana. Minister Honaker said that 14 degrees temperature down there where he lives. That's very low for Louisiana. And, of course, there have been wars and rumors of wars. There's tumultuous things that are happening. And it's only going to get worse, And so but nobody's mentioning the tribulation. You haven't heard that word come out of any politician's mouth. Now, I haven't been around the churches, but I don't know whether, I haven't heard prominent preachers talking about it. It certainly is being carried by the news people, the liberal news or conservative news or any other kind of news. The only place you're hearing about it consistently is right here at this desk and at the marble pulpit. But we are in the tribulation. And I have been saying to you to read Proverbs chapter 3. I pray that you are reciting Psalms 23 every morning when you pray before you get into your details about what you want to talk to the Lord about. You cite Psalms 23. And I've also now said to you, I've gone back to saying, read Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 12. And because that has been the scriptures that have protected me. I wrapped myself, when Almighty God told me to do it, I wrapped myself in trusting the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him. I wrapped myself into that. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 12, 5 and 6 were critical. And I'm convinced that it brought me through some very tumultuous times. When the Lord told me to do it, it brought me through the illegal Obama election. It brought me through a time. And I want you to just pause right now and listen to this. Because you look at me and you sometimes I have a smile on my face. You think that possibly what he's saying can't be true. It must not be true. But Proverbs chapter 3 brought me through a time. Now, just slow down, stop what you're doing, and listen to this. When nearly every person in Africa and sub-Saharan Africa hated me, maybe in Morocco or in Algiers or in Egypt, which is the crown of Africa, maybe they weren't so concerned about Obama being the first black president. But understand something for just 1 second. I was a lone voice crying out here in the wilderness of North America that Obama ain't black and he's ineligible according to the birthright citizenship in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which is now getting a lot of noise because Trump wants to end the birthright citizenship, which is a part of the Constitution or enshrined in the Constitution. But think about this for just a second. Every black person hated me in America and in Africa. Think about that. You said, Pastor Man, not every black person. Well, when you got 70 to 80% of black people believing that Obama's the first black president, and I'm saying that he's not black and he's not the president, that he's ineligible, that he wasn't born in America, that I have that many. I don't think there has been, except for maybe Hitler, and then now maybe Donald Trump. I don't think there's ever been anybody who has been hated, and maybe as much as me. Maybe they. And so I'm not going to try to make a comparison to that. All I want to tell you is that all black people hated me. Let's put it that way. Because Obama was very popular. How did I survive that? Proverbs chapter 3, verse 1 through 12. That's how I survived it. I didn't survive it because I had friends and family, or I had funds, or people in high and influential places. It was only because of Proverbs chapter 3, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, keep the law, long life, length of days, favor, understanding with man and God, is health to thy neighbor, marrow to thy bones. Barns shall be filled with plenty. It's how I survived. So you may not understand that, you may not appreciate that, but I ask you to pause to think about what I have survived and how I've survived. And the reason why is because you may be going through a similar situation, or there may be something that's ahead of you with the tribulation because you may encounter something, or you may be going through something far minor, but the Proverbs chapter 3 will protect you as well. I've been told by the Lord to tell you that Proverbs chapter 3 will protect you. Wrap yourself in Proverbs chapter 3. Do everything that it says. You know, I have been preaching about the Sabbath for years and years and years and years. But the clarity of you can't change creation only came upon me over the last month or so. I mean, it was right there all along. Right there all along. So we go back to Elder Smith making a chronicle of the revelations that have been given starting back last year. The fact that you can't change the Sabbath, you can't change creation, is a profound statement to people that go to church on Sunday. You can't change. The Sabbath is a part of creation. You cannot change Saturday to Sunday than you can change a cow into a goat. You can't do it. You can't do it. Now you can go to church on Sunday, but you're not keeping the Sabbath. Now, you can go to church on Sunday, or you can say, "Well, the Lord don't mind." Yes, He does mind, because you're tampering with creation. And I never saw that as clearly as I've seen it over the last month. And I preach about, Sabbath, been worshiping on Sabbath now for many years. And when I first came to Jesus back in 1976, I knew that the Sabbath was the right day, but I was hanging out with the Baptists, so, I did what the Baptists did. But that clarity, you can't change creation. Now, it's gotten worse with the churches, because they're now trying to change a man to a woman and a woman to a man. And it would be one thing if they just left it there, but they're trying to change little girls to boys or little boys to girls, which shows you just how evil this is. And anybody who touches that, anybody who touches agreement and especially if you hear, let's say you've never heard about the Sabbath, that you can't change creation, you never heard about it, perhaps there's some slack. It doesn't mean you're part of the elect. But let me get back to the fact that every person that was black in America hated me. Every person that's black in America during the Obama years hated me, yet I survived. When Obama did come to power, he ordered his Dennis Blair, who was the director of national intelligence, to investigate and assassinating me. Now, there have been a number of people around Obama that have died suspiciously. There was a young musician in the Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, where Obama, Oprah Winfrey, and Michelle the Fist Bumper attended for many years. He was a fourth grade teacher. He was very proficient at music and music director. He was the music director there at the Trinity United Church under Jeremiah Wright. And reports came out of Chicago before Obama became president that Obama and this young musician were having a homosexual relationship. And once Obama ran for president and successfully became president, this young man, during the election process, this young man showed up in his apartment dead. Nobody knows how or why he was killed. He just showed up dead. And he was a very tight relationship with Obama. Jeremiah Wright, the preacher that said, no, God bless America. No, God, blank America. Y'all remember him, right? Do you know where he's at now? The Trinity United Church of Christ was a church of 8,000 members. They're in South Side of Chicago. When Obama became president, to verify that Obama put out a hit on me, Jeremiah Wright, a founder of a very powerful church, 8,000 members, speaking all over the world. Everybody was trying to get Jeremiah Wright to speak at their churches during those years. When Obama became president, Jeremiah Wright had to quietly resign the pulpit of a church that he spent 40 years building. They gave him $10 million and a brand new Mercedes S-Class. And we haven't heard from him since. Why did Jeremiah Wright have to leave his church? That was a political and a spiritual assassination that Obama put on Jeremiah Wright. Now, during those years, I was saying that Jeremiah Wright and Obama were both homosexual and having a homosexual relationship. Somehow or another, the Secret Service or the people that do investigation or the FBI or whoever, or Obama or the Director of National Intelligence said that Jeremiah Wright could no longer have the spotlight. That if Jeremiah Wright, Mr. Engineer, I don't know if we can find that. And Scribe LaFleur, can you find Jeremiah Wright's speech No, 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 don't say God bless America. Can you find that and get that to us right away? What the reason why Jeremiah Wright had to give up his 8,000 member church when Obama became president is because the CIA, Obama once worked for the CIA, and Jeremiah Wright knew it. Obama was an operative working with the Taliban. They were once the Mujahideens. The Mujahideens fought the Russians in the 80s, kicked them out of Afghanistan. Obama was a CIA asset working with the Mujahideen. In the 1990s or somewhere or another within that 1990s period, the Mujahideen changed their name from the Mujahideens to the Taliban. And then they took over Afghanistan, took over the government, and pretty much have been running the government of Afghanistan. It was at that time that Osama bin Laden became very prominent and powerful with the Mujahideen and with the Taliban. Anyway, Obama was an asset. He spoke fluent, if you will, Islamic language, whatever it was, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He had a Muslim cadence, Obama did. He was raised in Jakarta, Indonesia. Spent the first 9 years of his life going to Muslim schools in Jakarta, Indonesia. Jakarta, Indonesia is 90% Muslim. And so Jeremiah Wright knew all of this. What the Director of National Intelligence told Obama is that Jeremiah Wright could not have a public platform just to preach the gospel. And so he had to resign his 8,000 member church and go into hiding. Otherwise, they were going to kill him. Is that the speech right there? Do we have the speech? That's just a photo of him. That's Jeremiah Wright. Y'all remember him. Why is this important? I'm telling you that everybody that was black in America at one point in time hated me, and that there was a hit put out on me by Obama as well. I survived it. I'm simply trying to say I survived it not because I had protection, I had armed protection around. I survived it because I wrapped myself in Proverbs chapter 3. That's all I'm trying to say to you. I'm just giving you the historical context, the background of how Proverbs chapter 3 kept Obama from killing me. Now, I'll just go one further. Obama purchased a multi-million-dollar house up in Martha's Vineyard, up in that very exclusive area of Massachusetts, off the coast of Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard. And in purchasing that house, he hired a cook, a young Hamite, black man, if you will, a young Hamite, to come and live in his house and be his cook. Michelle don't cook. She don't cook. She don't make eggs, and she don't boil eggs, and she don't, if you will, make coffee. So Obama had his own private cook, this young man. Just last year, this cook, a handsome, if you will, for me to say so, black man, at 12 o'clock at night, allegedly was out in the Atlantic Ocean water surfing or surfing on one of these things that just the paddle boats or something like they were doing, and he drowned in 4 feet of water. He drowned he was Obama's cook. Now, they've been Obama's cook now for several years. The reports are that Obama was having a sexual relationship with him. His wife knew about it, found out about it. Anyway, in order to stop him, he ended up dead. So the two people that ended up dead around Obama that everybody knew that he was having a homosexual relationship with, Jeremiah Wright didn't end up dead, but he might as well be because they took him off the scene. And you don't know where he's at. What are you doing now? So I did not end up dead. That's all I'm trying to say to you. I did not end up dead. Dennis Blair, who was the Director of National Intelligence at the time, was the first one who put out the report on me. And when Dennis Blair put out the report on me, the Secret Service came here to the church, several of their officers, but before they came, they went over to the 28th precinct, which is just down the block from here on the next avenue, got a whole cadre of police officers. You see those buildings across the street over there? On the rooftops of those buildings, going all the way down the street, were sharpshooters with long guns, AR-15s or whatever it was they had, When the Secret Service came to visit me, those buildings across the street, the landlords had to let the Secret Service get up on their rooftops. To this very day, people in those buildings think I'm an awful person because they think the government's a good place, Obama's a good man. They told the people in those buildings across the street, you see right across the street from there, that I have been threatening Obama and that I was a threat to the community and they needed to protect the Secret Service going in and didn't know whether or not if they came into this building, whether I had arms stashed in this building like that boy down there in Waco, Texas, down there at Mount Carmel, David Koresh. They didn't know. They thought maybe I had arms in the building, had people in the building. So they wanted to be able to wage a war from the top of those buildings when the Secret Service came in. So before they came in, and then they had the police officers who were regular police officers, regular 28 precinct, New York City police also accompanied them. So when they came into my study. They came in, I think, with 2 Secret Service officers and 2 police officers actually stood right here in the same office I'm in right now. And they questioned me for about an hour. But they were outside the door, they were down the street, the police cars surrounded the building. But I survived. I did not get James Clapper, probably when they got the report, Dennis Blair resigned. If you go back and read the history of Dennis Blair and James Clapper, you'll notice that Dennis Blair all of a sudden resigned suddenly and no reason was given. And they installed this other guy, James Clapper. James Clapper finally got the report. I wasn't assassinated, that's all I'm trying to say. And the reason why I wasn't assassinated isn't because James Clapper, that's James Clapper there, it wasn't because of the fact he wrote a report favorable of me, it's because of Proverbs chapter 3. Solomon wrote a report in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 12, that was favorable. I survived, Jeremiah Wright did not. You don't know where Jeremiah Wright is. I don't even know if he's still living. They gave him, the church gave him, I don't know what the church gave him or the government gave him $10 million and told him to get lost. But you can see the picture of Jeremiah Wright and Obama. That's when they were lovers. That's when Obama was a member of that church, and they were lovers at the time. For whatever reason, Dennis Blair, the director of national intelligence, which Tulsi Gabbard is trying to get now, thought that it would be if Jeremiah Wright still had a powerful pulpit to preach from, it would injure Obama's presidency. So he had to go. Either he take the $10 million in the Mercedes-Benz, or they put him in a 6 feet under. But that's what happened. So I want to say to you that the Lord has protected me all these years, and I'm grateful for my journey. But during those times when I was hated by every black person on the planet, I want to show you some things. Well, actually, this came from the homosexual group, so I'll get back to that a little bit later. This mainly came from the LGBTQ. That's a different segment of hatred. But I want to say to you, do you want to be protected? Whatever you might not be a person of prominence, and I'm not saying I'm important, such as myself, but you may just be an average person going to work every day, but you want to be protected from the wiles of the devil because he'll go after anybody. Then read Proverbs chapter 3 and do everything it says, including the first fruit offering and giving according to God's blessing of your life. Do that and you'll survive. Keep the law. Stop going to Sunday churches. You say, well, your family goes, you don't want to disappoint your mama. Well, you and your mama going to go to hell. That's just all there is to it. That's just all there is to it. So you don't have to disappoint y'all and say, well, I'm willing to go to hell for my mama. I'm willing to go to hell for my daddy. I'm willing to go to hell. They're going to hell with them because that's where you're going to go. You can't change creation. You can't change creation. You can't change You can't change the Sabbath to Sunday. You can't do that. You can't make the seventh day the first day. You can't do. Nobody on the planet, not even Jesus. You can't do it. And anybody the devil told you that you could do it, he lied. He lied. But here's what I want to say to you. Here's what I want to say to you. I've survived as a result of Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 12, and the rest of the verses as well in Proverbs chapter 3. Now, I want to assign Elder Smith as the secretary of Revelations. And I don't say that because of somehow or another I feel exalted or that I am. But going back to those years, 2007 and 2008, 2009, 2010, everybody who remembers me during those years know how dangerous those years were for me. But I unlike the young cook that supposedly drowned in 4 feet of water outside of Obama's house up in Martha's Vineyard, and the 4th grade school teacher, this is this young cook, he and Michelle. You know, he lived in Obama's house. They slept in Obama's house, maybe slept in Obama's bed, maybe slept in Michelle's bed. I'm just doing maybes. I'm just, but he's dead now. And the boy could swim. 4 feet of water, he drowned. You haven't heard anything about it. You haven't heard anything about why the investigation. You haven't heard any national investigation. You haven't heard people on CNN talking about it. Heck, you haven't heard people on Fox News talking about it. Well, when you die around Obama, nobody makes mention of him. When you die around Obama, it's just like when Jeremiah Wright left that 8,000 member church, they just spent 40 years building 8,000 members. All of a sudden he had to go out the door and they would not allow him back in the pulpit again. He built that church, 8,000 members. He built that church. But when Obama became president, Jeremiah Wright had to go. Me, I'm still here. Now, you may not think that, that Proverbs chapter 3 you may think I cut a deal. No, I'm still here. And it's because of Proverbs chapter 3. I'm simply trying to help you. That's all. I don't know if you will leave it except to help. But the thing of it is that you got to do what Proverbs chapter 3 says. You got to keep the law. And primarily, it's keeping the Sabbath. You got to do that. You can't. And one of the reasons why, especially the church people are so poor, is that they go to church on Sunday. And God just ain't coming in there on Sunday when he did it already on Saturday. He ain't coming in there. I don't care who you are. He ain't coming in there. And that's the reason why church people are so poor. And Jews are much better off, including Muslims, have a much better world, much better, they have much more power, much more prosperity. Christians are the poorest people on the planet because they go to church on Sunday. But you can't talk to them. I mean, and you have to, well, maybe it's a selective thing that God is. At any rate, I'm thankful that for what the Holy Ghost has been able to let me say over the last few months. I survived Obama, then came Tribulation Trump. So there's probably next time you and I get together, I will go through my survival of the LGBTQ. And then after that, I'll go through my survival of Donald John, now transgender Tribulation Trump. I'll go through that, but it's just I don't have enough time in this 1 hour to be able to do that because I want to tell you about something else. Were it not for my surviving Obama, perhaps at one time the most popular politician on planet Earth, surely the most powerful man while he's president, and any president that's president of America is the most powerful man on planet Earth. I survived him. Now, you may think Obama don't know anything about me. You don't think Obama didn't care anything about Dennis Blair didn't write a report. Listen, I can tell you, the Secret Service came here. You can call the Brooklyn office of the Secret Service and ask them about the date that they came here, and they'll tell you they came here. The reason being is because Obama sent them here. James Clapper sent them here. Was it James Clapper? James Clapper sent them here. We have, all right, listen, the engineer has finally pulled up the Jeremiah Wright. So you'll remember who he was, and all of a sudden, here's a man with all this power and prominence, and he had to walk out of an 8,000-member church, never to be seen again. Roll that clip, Mr. Engineer, of Jeremiah Wright.
No, not God bless America, God damn America that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
All right, so he's the one. But I want to say this, that the Lord has protected, Jeremiah Wright had to leave his church. I didn't leave mine. Now, people left me. They left our church. But I'm still here. The young cook is, that young man that served as Obama's cook is dead, and there's been no investigation. Nobody's told you why a man who can swim, and why he was out on the water paddle boating at 12 o'clock at night. Why would anybody go out and do that hour of the night? The question is, who took him out there and drowned him? That's the thing. Were there any, struggle marks on his body? There's no autopsy report, nothing. Obama's got power. Obama's got power. Obama's got power over Trump. I'll get to that in another segment. Let me just say briefly in the Manning Report, Obama has got power over Trump. I don't know if you saw Obama and Trump talking the other day at the funeral of late President Jimmy Carter. Obama's got power over Trump. Because when Trump came to office, he was talking about the birth certificate. And he's going to uncover Obama. Obama got power. Obama got power over Trump right this minute. You think Elon Musk got power? No. If Obama tells Trump to jump, Trump will ask how high on the way up. So Obama's still in charge. He's still in charge. And Obama never liked Joe Biden anyway, and he didn't like Camelback Harris. And so that's another thing altogether. But here, let me say this to you. I want to tell you that I'm thankful for my journey. It has made me a better man. I am, as a result, I can imagine if I had what my life would be like if I had voted for Obama and never gave the prophecy that he would not be the president, and stood by what God said, and though he took the office, he wasn't president because he wasn't legally eligible to be president. And now we have the same thing I preached for years about the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, birthright citizenship. You have to be born in America in order to be an American citizen. You have to be an American citizen to be an American president. Obama was no say. So he wasn't the president. Now he took the office fraudulently. And it wasn't until I raised that as an issue that Trump comes along and says that the election was stolen. It says all that's spawned out of what I said. But here, what I want to say to you is that had I not, let's say for instance, I'd been like one of these regular Joe Blow pastors, my face would probably be wrinkled. I'd probably be sick, or the church would have closed down like the one next door. Most of the Obama churches are gone. Most of them are gone. The only churches really left in America now are the prosperity ones, and they're dying because black people just aren't into that prosperity thing anymore. You got that Kenneth Copeland, he's the Japheth prosperity. And you got that boy, Joel Osteen down there, but that ministry is dying since one of his lovers, a birth child, was killed down there. And so that office is closing up as well. But let's say for instance, I've been like a regular preacher, yay, yay, rah, rah, Obama, what would I be doing now? I am so thankful that God let me walk the walk. I'm so thankful that God when everybody in Africa and all black people on the planet hated me, every black person hated me. I mean, I thought I was going to have to go and live among the Ku Klux Klan. All black people hated me. They hated me. And yet I survived. And I'm glad that I went through it. You can't imagine what that's like. And I'm going to give you another segment when then the LGBTQ company came after me. And then the Trump people came after me. But what I'm trying to say, I was protected by Proverbs chapter 3. That's what I'm saying to you. And I'm thankful for my journey. It's made me a better man. I can't imagine who I would be if I had been an Obama supporter. If I had supported Obama, I'd be very disappointed like a lot of other people because he didn't do anything for black people. He didn't do anything. I mean, he didn't even think about doing anything. He never planned to do anything for black people except pimp them. But I'm so grateful. What looked like 16, 17 years ago, like my life was over with, but it isn't me whose life ended. A church had to close down. It was the one that supported Obama whose life ended, whose church had to close down. And I still want to know about Jeremiah Wright. That really is, I mean, I understand what Dennis Blair and James Clapper both agreed to, is that you can't give a man like Jeremiah Wright a platform, a national platform, Because he could always stand up and say, Obama's my son in the ministry. He could say that every time he walked to the pulpit. I raised Obama, I taught him this. As a pastor, he could say, if Obama, I'll call you as your pastor, I'm your pastor. But Jeremiah Wright didn't install him. Jeremiah Wright didn't preach. Jeremiah Wright wasn't even invited to the event. He had to go because of Obama's homosexual relationship with Jeremiah Wright. And people in the church knew it. But I'm thankful for my journey. I'm a better man today. And I would not, had I not survived perhaps two of the strongest politicians in America, there's no way I'd be running for the office of mayor of the city of New York. I wouldn't do it. Why would I do it? But when you're looking from this perspective, step back and look at it from this perspective. I have survived two of the strongest politicians in recent times. They were both presidents, both Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama, and Donald John, or transgender tribulation Trump. I've survived them. I've survived them from a political point of view. Now, you may not think that what I've done or who I am is important, but they do. They know it's critical, and the world knows it as well. I've survived them. I mean, I put Obama on trial. just gave you the history of when Obama worked with the Mujahideens, when Russia was in Afghanistan, the Mujahideens later became the Taliban. All that history, all of that, all that's documented. That Obama never went to Columbia University, though they gave him a undergraduate degree in political science. I survived all of that. I survived saying those things right here that were printed in the New York Times. When I held a trial here for Obama back in May of 2010, the New York Times, the Associated Press, the Wall Street Journal, and other newspapers sat in our church as the courtroom and watched me prosecute a trial for 5 days. They came every day I prosecuted that trial. And they printed it in the New York Times that I proved in court that Obama never attended Columbia University. Go back and read it. It's in the New York Times. But I survived it. Now, suppose I had not done all those things. What kind of man would I be? I'd probably be a weak man, So sometimes when things look extremely bad, what the world is doing is because it's extremely good for God. I'm going to get to the Mellon Bank as well, but I survived Obama. I survived Trump. Then I can run for the office of mayor. No big thing. I can do that. And I want to help you understand where that's coming from. It's coming from the fact, if I had not done these things and survived them, survived all the hatred that came at me from black people, then there's no way I'd be thinking about running for the mayor, becoming the mayor of the city of New York. There's just no way. But I have a track record now. I have experience. And on the campaign trail, I'm going to make all that critical. Also, I've survived the Mellon Bank. Now, one of the things I'm going to do on the campaign trail, I'll do more of this in the Manning Report, is that the Mellon Bank needs to go. The Mellon Bank needs to be shut down. It does. The Mellon Bank needs to be shut down. They need to go. Now, I know they have $1 trillion in assets, but that ain't nothing compared to the Word of God. They need to be shut down, and they need to be prosecuted for the things that they've done. And I believe that God will give me the power. I think God will send me some people. God will send me angels, and God will give me wisdom that we can actually shut the Mellon Bank down. And it's because of their persecuting of us that I have also learned now how to deal with institutions like the Mellon Bank. We've been able to survive them. And one of the things that is causing them to act very blindly and very foolishly by continuing to prosecute a foreclosure action against us is because for them, it's personal. They are angry with me. It's personal. And they know that it's going to cost them. To come at me, it's going to cost them. But it's personal. They hate my guts. I have exposed them. Well, I got news for you, Mellon Bank. I got news for you, homie. You ain't seen nothing. And by the way, you may think I can't do it. You're wrong. You may think, you may be foolish enough, Mellon Bank, you may be foolish enough to think that your money is going to protect you. You may be foolish enough to think, listen, I'm going to call for when I become mayor, I'm going to call for put forth an executive order that no picture of Donald Trump shall be seen anywhere in New York City. That's right. And I'm going to make an executive order and let the legislators try to, in New York State and federal government, take me to court. But I'm going to put up flags, flying flags in the parks of transgender tribulation Trump. Go fly it outside of school. Let them take me to court. As the mayor with an executive order, I'm going to do it. If it's unconstitutional, let them take me to court. And it'll take them several years. But that's what I'm going to do. Now, what that's going to do is going to catch on like wildfire. And then with the same, I'm not going to tell you, Mellon Bank, exactly how I'm going to take you down. But I'm going to take you down, Mellon Bank. I'm going. Y'all, first of all, you're very angry. I was down there in court the other day with that boy, I'll get her before she goes to bed at night. That attorney named I'll get her before she goes to bed, or I'll get her when she goes to bed. I'll get her when she goes to bed. I'll get her, I'll get her when she goes to bed. I was down there, that boy was mad with me. Woo! He couldn't stand being anywhere around me. The judge sent us out into the courtroom, out into the hallway. He went way down the hallway to the bathroom, so he would not stand near me because I'm on his case. I'm gonna whoop his butt too. I'm gonna whoop them green pants. I'm gonna whoop that cheap green suit off that boy. Oh yeah. So, but listen, they're angry with me, and I'll say this because I can say it. You know, the things I've done and said about them has got them acting out of anger rather than acting out of jurisprudence. They're not thinking financially what is good for them. They're not thinking about what is socially and publicly good for them. Right now, they're just angry at me. They want to get me. I come up in the board when Robin Vance and the trustees get together and the investors, I come up, my name gets mentioned in those high-priced meetings. They're angry with me. They're not thinking rationally anymore. They're just thinking out of pure natural-born hate. I've driven them to that point. Well, I got news for them. I'm going to take them down. I'm going to take them down. I'm going to take the city of New York as mayor. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take them down. I'm going to do it. And I've done so because of the experiences that I've had. And I know that I have Proverbs chapter 3 to protect me. So it's going to be a very interesting journey to watch what's going to happen over the next few years as the tribulation continues. And I've got the power of God. I got the power of God's word. So I'm a better man. The suffering I did, the hatred that came at me from black people against Obama, I'm a better man. And whether people are willing to say it now publicly, there are a large number of people, I mean a large, including in Africa and here in America, who, whether they come up to me and say it to my face, they now have to say in their heart that I was right. They have to now say in their heart that I'm a man of God. And I'm going to call them. I don't know if they're a part of the elect. If they're not a part of the elect, then there's nothing very well I can do. They're going to die and go to hell. But there are a large number of people are now looking at me. Now, it's still touch and go, but there are literally millions of people now who heard my voice. Obama ain't black. Obama the Mac Daddy. Obama pimp black women and white women. The first time I saw his name was on two great big old tits. Obama the Mac Daddy. They heard those. That heard around the world. And now 18 years later, they now realize I was right. Now, have they come up to me and said, Pastor Man? Well, a lot of them have. In fact, right out there on the side, I can go out there and stand out the side right now. And I guarantee you, if I stand out there for 2 hours, 10 people will come up to me and say, Pastor Manning, I used to hate you. I used to hate you about Obama. I thought you were running down our first black president. Well, Pastor Manning, you were right. I can stand there. If I go out there, I tell you right, that's exactly what, well, maybe today it's a little bit cold out there, so it might not have too many people. And I ain't going out there because it is cold. So imagine now all the secret disciples that I have. Imagine all the people that admire my courage, my conviction, and my wisdom and prophecy from afar. They've never come to say thank you. But once I get on the campaign trail and become the mayor of this, and on the campaign trail and become the mayor of the city of New York, these people are going to come to me. They're going to come running. They are. And we can form a mighty army. I'm not sure if they're not part of the elect, then you just got to go. You're going to die and go to hell. Only the elect will be allowed to come into my presence. I can tell you that right now. It's not my presence. It's not my idea. It's God's idea. Only the elect. Now, if you're not a part of the elect, then, you can appreciate me all you like, but that ain't where we're going. So there are two things. One is, imagine what my life would have been like had I just went along with everybody else. Join everybody else praising Obama, talking about Obama. Obama came to Harlem only once in 8 years. In 8 years. Harlem is the capital of the black world. Harlem is the king. Harlem is the flagship of all black people. He only came here one time. When he came here only to have lunch at the restaurant right up the street from here with his homosexual boyfriend that owns the Red Rooster restaurant. He didn't come to speak to the people. Obama never came to a church in Harlem in 8 years. In 8 years, he never came to the flagship black. Think about that. What an insult to black people. What an insult. He campaigned in Harlem once. He came to the Apollo Theater and was up there singing the Al Green song. We did that once, and after that, he didn't have no further use for Harlem. You got to figure out how stupid can black people be. The man was in office for 8 years and never came to Harlem. Never came to black people's flagship town. 8 years as president. Didn't come to do anything, make any declaration, didn't come to worship, didn't come for any. When he did came one time, I protested this coming too, by the way. Oh, that's on the record. So I'm a better man. And I am convinced now, though it looked gloomy, and by the way, everybody that stood by me during those years, congratulations, God bless you. But I tremble to think what my life would have been if I had been a supporter of Obama. One of the preachers that got on the bandwagon. First of all, I'd be very embarrassed. And the other thing is that I probably would have hated me. I probably would stand up in my pulpit saying, Pastor Man's Uncle Tom, he's a Uncle Ruckus, he's a sellout. I probably wasn't telling people that. And then finally now, while I had to face the fact that I prophesied Obama would not become president, while I had to face that, I faced it because I knew what God said, and I was steadfast. I was trusting in the Lord. I stood. But now they got to stand up. Now they got to stand up after telling the world that I was a false prophet, that Obama was sent by God. Now they got to stand up. And by the way, you MAGA people, there's some false prophet, probably a perverted homosexual, probably a child molester named Clement or something. All these MAGA people keep talking about he prophesied he's probably a child molester, because a whole lot of child molesters follow Trump. I don't know why. Why so many child molesters, child pornography people? What is it with these Trump people? Everywhere you shake a stick, there's somebody that follows Trump that's into child pornography, child molestation, rapists, drunks like that Peter Exec boy. What is it with people that follow Obama? Doesn't he have anybody decent? Everywhere you shake a stick, there's a child molester wearing a red hat. Child pornography. That's about as sick as you can get. That's as gross as you can get. Come on, pick on somebody your side. Don't be picking on no children. But they love Obama. They love Trump. So a whole lot of people are going to have to say that preachers that stand in the pulpit say Manning was right. Again, I stand out there. Every time I go out there on that sidewalk, somebody comes up to me, Manning, I used to hate your guts. And even the people across the street where the Secret Service asked them for permission to go up on their roof and stand out there with their jack-booted thugs with their long rifles, going to shoot our building. I don't know who they're going to shoot at. I guess they thought I was David Koresh, that I had a whole instrument, a bunch of guns. And I'm not David Koresh. I'm Pastor Manning. I'm the Lord's servant. I thought I told y'all that before. Let me sum all this up. I got through all this, is all I want to say, because of Proverbs chapter 3, verses 1 through 12. I'm going to ask the engineer to bring it up, and I'm going to read it. That's how, and I'm a better man now. I'm ready to be the mayor of the city of New York. I'm ready to take on world leadership because of those experiences. It's better than going to a military school, better than going to West Point. It's better than going to some of the best schools around America. The school of hard knocks that I went through when I took on Obama as the illegal, if you will, and non-black president. But it's Proverbs chapter 3 that got me through it. And I'm just giving that to you. I'm passing that along to you. If you want to survive all of what's going to happen, read Proverbs chapter 3 and do exactly what it says. You can't do some of it and leave the other undone. Mr. Engineer, put that up on the screen for us. My son, forget not my law. You got to keep the law. You got to keep the Sabbath. You got to keep the Sabbath. You can't change. It is ridiculous. It is preposterous. You think about it. Sit down and think about it. You can go to church on Sunday all you want, but the Sabbath is not just the law. It's the creation. You can't change creation. You can't do it. But let your heart keep my commandments as well. The tithe, the first fruit offering. The length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Length of days, I still have my life. I still have a long life. And I have because of this Proverbs chapter 3. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. And I've done that. The law of God is in my heart everywhere you look. That's why I love my Jewish brothers. They taught me how to do it. You shall say, I find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and of man. And I have favor. I do. I can walk into a room and people would just automatically, be nice to me. Not have some haters around, obviously, people who know about me, but, I have favor with God. I do. I have favor with the Lord. And don't think because somehow or another I'm not one of these Sunday preachers that are popular, one of these Reverend Catfish that are very popular. Don't understand. These are false prophets. Don't think that, because you got a 10,000 member church and your private jet, that somehow or another you're somebody. That ought to be right way. Everybody ought to know that that's not of God. That's a false prophet. Here's what the Lord told me. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. And so be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. And it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance. And this is a very important, all of it is important, but this is a critical. With respect to what money we have, we're on the honor system. God does not create audits like the IRS. We're on the audit system. And the honor system, not the audit system, Lord have mercy. I'm tired, it's the end of the week. We're on the honor system. So honor the Lord with the first fruits of all thine increase. And so shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst open with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening. And let me say this to people. When I preach, my preaching is offensive to people who are doing wrong. People that are doing right. The only time you get upset with my preaching is because you're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. If you're doing what is right before God, you're going to love my preaching. And even if I chasten you, if I rebuke you, you should love it, that I care enough about you to correct you. And so when I correct you, when I say the things, because you got a ton of people listening to me right now, they listen to me every day, but the last thing on there that they plan to do on this planet is ever support this ministry. But they listen, which is really a very sick position to be in. They don't realize that they are mentally deformed. Someone wrote on one of the postings I did, one of the videos I posted up, "You're not a man of God." Now this person, I think his name is Cervantes or something like that. This person been listening to me for years. And if I'm not a man of God, then why? Listen, I don't go listen to people who I think are not people of God. I don't go sit up in a Muslim mosque. I don't go there. Yet there are people sick enough to come to this ministry every day, and yet they won't do what I say. They don't do what the Word of God says. So you have to realize that they must be fueled by the devil. You got to be sick. I do not go inside of a Muslim mosque. I ain't going in there. They ain't got nothing to say. I ain't gonna listen to that. I ain't gonna listen on YouTube or anywhere else. I'm not going to a Muslim mosque. I don't want to hear nothing about what the Muslims have to say. They have nothing to tell me. So I'm not even talk to them that Allah is not God. I'm not going to talk to them about that. But there are people that are sick. I mean, they are really sickos. They come every day. They never give a dime for the breakfast program. They never give $1 to support the ministry. But they come every day, and they don't do it because they say, well, I don't have to do it. But you got to be sicker than sick. You got to be, and probably see, when people are spiritually, psychologically sick, like these people, like that Cervantes boy, it'd be like me going, going to the mosque on Friday when they do Juma. I go to the mosque and I sit there and listen to the imam. And then I get it. Why would I go in there in the first place if I don't believe in the religion? Why would I go in there? And when they pass and they ask for, what do they call it? I forget what they call it, the offering. And I get up and walk out. Why did I go in there in the first place? Why would I go into a mosque in the first place if I don't believe in what they're doing and supporting what they're doing? Why would I go there? I got to be some sort of a damn fool to go inside of a mosque and sit there and listen to what they say. And then when they ask for charity, is what they call it. They ask for charity, ask for an offering, I get up and walk out. I have to be some sort of a sick fool. Yet people come here, they see the breakfast program, they see the children being fed, they know we're housing the homeless, they know it takes money to pay the lights bills, they know it takes money to run this man, they know it, and they get up and walk out. You got to be some sort of sick fool. I mean, you got to be psychologically deranged. You need to go see. You need to get mental counseling. Why do you come here? You need mental counseling. And maybe the counselor can tell you that you are driven by a devil. I don't know if they'll tell you that or not. But there ain't no way, my friend, I'm going to go sit up in a mosque. I just ain't going to go. They have nothing to tell me. They have nothing to tell me. I'm going to go sit there, go in and argue with them. So, at any rate, when I just chasing you. Don't be worried. When I corrected you, I've corrected and told you, you have a cycle. You are possessed by a devil if you come here on a daily basis or a weekly basis and you don't support. You're possessed by a devil. You are possessed by a devil. There ain't no way. I would be, as a Christian, going into a mosque, sitting and listening to the imam. I'd have to have the devil in me to go inside of a mosque. But I've chastened you, and you ought to love it, even as a father loves his own child. All right, everybody. So go to Proverbs chapter 3 and read it every day and do everything that it says. Praise the Lord. Praise Almighty God. Peace out.
Pastor Manning, you are the one to preach righteous and true. You're a sharecropper, son. Pastor Manning, the things you've been through.
Coming to you live from New York City, it's the Manning Report with your host, Dr. James David Manning. The truth behind the news and the news behind the headlines.
I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. All right, welcome everybody to the Manning Report. And I am Manning, and I am reporting. How's everybody doing today? We pray that all is well. Cold here in the Big Apple. It's dating this message. And we're into the third day of the tribulation Trump's illegal presidency. And he was addressing the World Economic Conference at Davos, Switzerland this morning. And there are a number of things that are going on that I want to try to cover today. But I'm so delighted you have logged on. And I want to get started right away with Pete Hegseth, the person that Tribulation Trump. And I want you to listen to me. I know many of you are you're MAGA followers. You listen to me because you know I have the truth. A lot of people listen to me. They pray that somehow or another I will bring this power of truth that I have, this power of presence, that I will come and support Trump. You're wrong. I ain't gonna never do that. You might as well give up. But a lot of people listen to me hoping that, boy, if he was a supporter of Trump, man, that would be really good. He'd be a good voice for Trump. It ain't gonna happen. I tell you right now, if you're listening, because you're like me, and I know you do, but you know Trump is a liar, a pathological psychopath. You know that. But I am not going to be a spokesperson for Trump, and I ain't going to support him. So forget it. All right. So you can hang up here. You can get offline now if you like. Just go away. Go somewhere. You can leave. Because I ain't going. I'm not going to support Trump. There ain't no way that I will stoop down and get in a barrel of doo-doo with somebody like Trump. I'm a man of principle. I'm a man of character. I ain't nowhere in the world I'd get in knowing the man's a liar, knowing the man's a rapist. I know that he is, and I'm going to support somebody like that? Talking about let God judge him? The man's a pathological, unrepentant liar, rapist, con man, freak. The man is sick. There ain't no way I would put my support behind somebody like that. You got to be out your mind. But there are people who don't have morals. They don't have standards that they live by, you know. And so so this guy Peter Hegseth, a report came out yesterday that was a signed affidavit by his former sister-in-law. I think of his first marriage. He's been married 3 times, as you very well know, and who gave documented proof of him being a stumblebum drunk. Now, there have been a lot of reports that have been given to the subcommittee on the appointments for the Senate to review whether or not Hegseth can indeed be, while he's been nominated, whether he can actually be confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. And I've heard these reports that Pete Hegseth was so drunk one night he was standing out in front of a very prestigious hotel peeing on the street. He was so drunk, when he peed on the street, somebody had to take him up to his hotel room. He was so drunk. I've heard reports that he was down in New Orleans, down in the Big Easy, when he was running one of these military support organizations, Americans for military soldiers, whatever it was, Veterans for America, America for Veterans, one of those organizations. He ran into the ground, and he got so drunk down in Big Easy in the Big Easy in New Orleans. He tried to get up on the stage with the strip dancers. Now, you know these strip clubs where the women got these little tight things on their buttocks. He tried to get on the stage and dance with them. They had to pull him down. The security guards had to pull him down and throw him out. He was so drunk. And there's just other incidents of being stone cold drunk. And then he's admitted he is drunk. He's admitted he's an alcoholic. Because he said in a statement, well, if I become the Secretary of Defense, I'll stop drinking. Now, if you're the Secretary of Defense, there are wars, conflict going on around the world. Listen, I'm a pastor, and my phone rings all night and all day. There's never a time when I have to come to that phone and don't have my faculties. That boy gets drunk and passes out. And if someone breaks out on the other side of the world where it's day there, night here, Hegseth is drunk. And the other thing I think that, I would talk to you people, especially you spineless, cojones-less, penalist senators who are ready to vote for this man. You know what it says to me? Listen, you senators, listen. Y'all know that this man's not qualified. You know he's not qualified. It isn't about just that he's a drunk. He's not qualified, even if he wasn't a drunk. He doesn't know a damn thing about running the Department of Defense or the Pentagon. And yet you're going to put all America, listen to you Republican you spineless piece of trash senators. You spineless, you penalist, you cojones. You going to do that to America? You going to put this man in charge of America's security? You bunch of puke. You Republican senators, you're a bunch of puke. You're a bunch of doo-doo. You're a bunch of poop. You're a bunch of dung. You stink. I mean, just how low can you? You going to put this man in charge of all of our security? You Republicans? You going to put this man who is a stumble bum, drunk, a racist, a rapist? You going to put him in? What the hell are y'all thinking about over there? The safety of America. What do y'all, what? I mean, how do you sleep? What? And the other thing was worse than that orange-haired orangutan, that pathological liar, that department store sticking his finger in a woman's vagina in the dressing room, that rapist, that department store rapist, that behind the curtain, stick your finger in a thing, rapist in a public store, that Donald John Trump, that fool has nominated him to be in charge of America's security. What the hell is wrong with your white people? What the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all done gone white crazy. What is, you let that public rapist, Donald John Trump, stick his finger in E. Jean Carroll's dyke. He don't care nothing about America's security. What the hell? We're going to be left wide open and don't have anybody who's in charge of our Defense Department. And y'all are saying yeah to this rapist. Just stick his finger in the woman's vagina while she's changing underwear. He's like a peeping Tom. Trump like a peeping Tom. He followed around the store. He saw her in the lingerie department. And that's why he picked on her, or than somebody picking out a pair of shoes. Trump was in Bergdorf Goodman. The woman was in the lingerie department. She picked out some nice lingerie, some nice panties, and took them to the dressing room. And he followed her to the dressing room. And the moment she unwrapped herself, he ran in and stuck his finger in her dyke. If this is the fool y'all got as president, this is the fool y'all gonna have appointing the defense secretary. This is the fool who sticks his finger in the dyke in a public store, and y'all call him Mr. President. There's some of these fools out there saying God sent him, like that porn watcher, that child pornography porn star, that guy called Clement, or whoever the hell he's a child pornography freak. Y'all white people done gone crazy. I'm telling somebody, do something about your white people. Y'all done get here in America. Y'all done gone crazy. They put this boy. First of all, you voted for Trump as president. The man done raped his wife. Hell, his wife got, you come home and the wife, and she ain't feeling good, she got a headache or something, or whatever it is. She don't want to do it. You take it anyway. So she said, okay, all right, this will be over. It ain't gonna take him but 2 seconds before he's finished. He usually don't last more than 20 seconds anyway. So she's lay there and let him do it. All right. Then he comes on again the next night and won't do it. Say, all right, good Lord have mercy. And she let him do it again. But after a while, Ivana got tired of Trump raping her. So she went to the police. Donald Trump's wife, second wife, went to the police and told the police, this man's raping me. And so that's then finally I think she wanted to scare him a little bit. So once they got ready to handcuff him, she said, all right, I'll drop the charge. They get ready to handcuff that boy. They get ready to handcuff the orange-haired orangutan raping his wife. But he didn't care. And who knows, Stormy Daniels, who knows? And y'all talking about God sent this fool. And now he want to put another rapist who signed a non-disclosure agreement with a woman out there in the Monterey Hotel out there in California. He raped her. And now you want to put this back. I mean, think about how less Trump cares about America. Because you wouldn't put somebody like Pete Hegseth in charge of the safety of all America. You white people done gone crazy. Y'all done gone ape doo-doo crazy. Y'all white people, you're crazy. Talking about this, you're going to support him no matter what. Y'all white people done got something, Lord have mercy. Listen, I need to talk to the Lord about this. Y'all white people done gone crazy, I'm telling you. They got the women out there wearing them red hats. And then you want to put that boy Robert Kennedy, want to put him in charge of the health department. Then you try to put this boy Gates, try to put him in charge of the FBI. I mean, the Attorney General, this guy who has had sex with a 17-year-old girl who raped anybody. But that's statutory rape. Gates. Trump like rapists. I swear, everybody that he's put in charge of some powerful office, Trump like rapists. Maybe Marco Rubio's a secret. Trump like rapists. If you're a rapist, Trump likes you. He like Gates, Matt Gates, Peter Hegseth. He's a rapist. I mean, everybody around Trump is a rapist. The boy likes rapists. And then all you white people, all y'all crazy ass white people, all y'all are out there, and the asses in the Bible. Don't covet the man's ox nor his ass. So, I got to talk to the Lord about this. What on earth is going on in the white world? Because they want to put Pete Hegseth in charge of all security. This America, I love America. America the beautiful. I love America, but see the shining sea. I love America. Suppose Kim Jong-un want to fire a bullet, a missile, and this boy is drunk in the middle of the night, raping somebody. And this guy here paying a 17-year-old girl and raping her. Trump like rapists. If you're a rapist, tell Trump, tell Trump, I want to be a part of your cabinet. Trump will say, well, have you ever raped anybody? Say, yeah, I like rape. Like they did in Blazing Saddles. I don't know if y'all saw that movie in Blazing Saddles. The guy said, what's your qualifications for joining this militia? The guy says, well, I'm a rapist. And then he said, what else? He said, I'm a rapist. He said, you said rape twice. The guy said, yeah, I like rape. These guys like rape. Trump like rape. Trump like people that are rapists. He's a rapist. He likes rapists. Listen, I don't know if I'm moving to Nigeria. You put Pete Hegseth, and these spineless, these white boys that run the Republican Senate, and not that the Democrats, mind you, hold the phone. Listen, not that the people that are Democrats are any better. I don't mean to say that they just have a different type of disease. The white Democrats, they have a different guy. They want to cut people's penis off. You white people that are Republicans, y'all just don't have one. But the Democrats want to cut. If a man's got cojones, and they want to cut it off. So both of y'all are sick. So I'll find out what's going on in white America. This is about as sick as you can get. But Trump like rapists. No, that boy, you're a rapist. You qualify. What's the qualification to be in Trump's cabinet? I'm a rapist. Follow that woman around she was in the lingerie department, Eugene Carroll, right? Trump like that, he's walking around here. You know, he ain't got no business in the women's lingerie department. He walking around, looking around. And then when she went to the dressing room, he followed her into the dressing room and popped his finger. His finger popped her. And that's your president. That's the guy that this child pornography guy, Clement, always talking about. I gave a prophecy about Trump. This child pornography guy, Clement, talking about God sent him. If God sent Trump to be president, who sent him into the room with Eugene Carroll, the finger popper? Tell me who sent him in there to do that? But I'll tell you this, if you're a rapist, tell Trump. He'll hire you right away. All right, everybody. So they got a new report now on the Hegseth. Let's see how far this is going to go. I ain't never seen nothing like these white men. I swear before God and 7 other, if you will, Hottentots. I ain't never seen nobody as weak and spineless as these white politicians. All right, I got to go, everybody. I'll be right back, though. 5 police officers died as a result of the assault on the 6th of January, the year 2021. And Trump just gave them a pardon. Just told them, walk free. Because Trump don't give a damn about police officers. And by the way, let me just say this to you. Trump don't give a damn about you. You MAGA, you redneck, you corn pone eating, your red handkerchief, your F-150 driving, your hound dog, 12-gauge shotgun shooter. Trump don't give a damn about you either. And you're going to find out. Listen, Trump was over there in Normandy on D-Day and wouldn't go to the graveyard. He's always touting that BS, love our country. We love our country. They love our country. Trump don't give a damn about the soldiers. He don't give a damn about the police officers. He don't give a damn about you, corn pone eating, red handkerchief, MAGA, hound dog, F-150 truck driving. He don't give a damn about you. When you gonna wake up? You gonna wake up. The man that asked his wife to vote for Trump, to support Trump, to believe in Trump, is beyond being insensitive, weak, and ungodly. Because Trump is a rapist. We know of a couple of accounts of women, including his wife, who filed charges, later retracted them, and I would understand why she would do that for the children's sake. But he raped her, and not only that, but on more than one occasion. E. Jean Carroll, though he was found liable in a civil suit of molestation, or raping rather, of E. Jean Carroll. Trump is a rapist, but men don't understand that because they don't have that woman's character, they don't have that womb. The king is coming. The king is coming. The king is coming. The king is coming. King Jesus is coming, everybody. King Jesus. King Jesus is coming. King Jesus is coming. King Jesus is coming. King Jesus is coming. Good God Almighty, good God Almighty, good God Almighty, good God Almighty. With all his power, and all of his glory, and all of his power, and all of his glory. King Jesus, King Jesus, King Jesus, King Jesus, King Jesus, King Jesus, King Jesus is coming. He told me to tell you. He told me to tell you that I will not be. I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to tell this to you. I don't know if I've ever shared this before, but we ran the breakfast program, and this church and the great members of this church and staff have served over 2 million meals to the people of this community. And let me tell you why. The Bible says we should do it. We should feed the hungry. But when I first came home from prison, I was living with my sister, and I stayed with her for a year. I didn't have my own place, and she would cook. She was a really good cook, very good cook. And her husband was an even better cook than she was. And they would make a lot of really good food, comfort food, beef stew and, mashed potatoes and fried chicken and that kind of thing. A lot of comfort food, cornbread, black-eyed peas. And when they cook it, but when I would sit down at the table, I would not eat as much as I wanted to. I would, what was put on my plate, I would eat that. But I didn't ask for seconds. Now listen, let me be clear about it. My sister nor her husband, my brother-in-law, never once intimated to me that I couldn't eat till I was full. They never did that. But because I knew I was sitting at another man's table, I didn't have my own. And I'm a grown man, and I'm sitting at another man's table. I ate modestly. I didn't eat till I was full, because I was pretty good eater at that time. I can go pretty good now. But I would look at the food that was still on the table, the food that was still in the pot, and I'd get up from the table. I just didn't want to look like I was greedy. I was sleeping in another man's house. I was using another man's toilet. I was using another man's toilet paper. I was eating from another man's table and plate. So I had to be very modest about that. That went on for a year. I'll never forget that. Now, my family, my sister and my brother-in-law, they never intimated to me that I was eating too much or that I should cut back. I never got that spirit, but I govern myself accordingly. So I feed people, and I put all the food on the table. Elizabeth put all the food on the table so people can see it. I feed people. You want seconds? Come on back. You want thirds? Come back. You want four? Come back. I don't put no limit on. I feed people, and I will always do that. I do not skimp. I let people eat because I know what it's like to sit at a table and walk away after you've eaten and still be hungry. No, when you walk away from my table, you walk away from Pastor Manning's table, you're going to be full. Now, food is very expensive. It is going off the charts what we have to pay to buy food to feed people. I'm asking you to help me. I'm asking you to give to our breakfast program. I'm asking you, see that logo there, to give to the children's breakfast program? I'm asking you to give. Help me feed people. If you know what I'm talking about, if you know that experience, for a year I sat at a table and I didn't eat till I was full. For a year, I didn't ask for seconds. For a year. Now, again, I am not throwing any shade on my family. They fed me, but I governed myself. For a year, I sat down at a table and I didn't eat till I was full. Can you help me feed the children? Can you help me feed the families? Can you help me by donating to the Outlaw Breakfast Program? Will you do that? The food is very expensive. The year is coming up now, and it's going to be even more expensive. But I want people to be able to eat. I've never turned away anybody from the doors of this church. Never in 40 years. You come here, I'm going to feed you. You want seconds? I'm going to give it to you. Until the pot's empty, I'm going to feed you. That feeling I had sitting at that table, looking at that beef stew and that cornbread, and knowing I would like another piece of it, another scoop of that beef stew with the carrots and the potatoes and the gravy, and the cornbread, thick and hot, but I got it from the table. But I made up in my mind, I'm going to feed people. Hunger is something I'm going to cure. I'm going to cure hunger. I'm going to cure hunger in Harlem, and I'm going to cure it when I become the mayor of the city of New York. I'm going to cure hunger in New York City. I'm going to cure it. Now, the word is cure, but my southern tongue gets all tangled up from time to time. Will you help me? Will you support? Will you donate to the Outlaw Breakfast Program? All right, so I need to bring you up to date about my bid for the mayor of the city of New York and to inform you of the things that I will get done within the first 100 days. There's a problem in America with food prices, I think, on the minds of most Americans who are in working class or middle class. Food has become very expensive. Now, I know how to lower it, but let me just give you the background of why food is expensive and why Trump is not going to lift a finger to lower the prices. Mainly because it's a conspiracy. The people who billionaires, the wannabe billionaires, the greedy people, the people who have been assigned by God because of their riches will never enter the kingdom of God. It'll be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man, for Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or any of the others to go through the eye of, it'll be easier for a camel to go through the eye of it than for them. So they're definitely designed to go to hell, including Obama and Trump. They're going to hell too. Rich people go to hell. And here's why rich people go to hell. The present fad or phase among rich Americans right now is to charge more, raise the price of food by as much as 300% to 400%, and that way everybody can get a slice of the pie and become billionaires. Years ago, back in the Carter administration, back in the 1970s, there was a thing called the oil embargo, where the Saudi Arabians and a bunch of other oil-producing Islamic nations decided, hey, why are we selling this oil for 5 cents a gallon? We can get $5 a gallon. And they decided to raise the price. And if America didn't pay it, they stopped. So we had a fuel crisis here in America, and the prices went up to $100 a barrel to $300 a barrel, and stayed there ever since. What business here? And listen to this very carefully. You need to listen to Pastor Manning. This is not an accident that food prices have gone up. They've gone up because it's a conspiracy. rich people have gotten together with politicians, especially local politicians and local congresspersons, local legislators, and city council persons, and they paid them off, and they put a conspiracy, because here's the thing, and here's the so-called, what do you call it, infamous genius of this whole, of why food prices are so high. Food prices are so high because of this infamous genius, is that everybody, the billionaires and the greedy people wanted to siphon off all the money that Americans have, realized that everybody got to eat. Now, they raise gas prices. They'll raise gas prices and make all kinds of profits, or they'll raise housing prices. They'll have a subprime mortgage. They'll foreclose on people back in 2008, 2009. They stole people's property, created a sense of homelessness in America. But this thing of raising food prices and everybody being in on the take, no matter who you are, if you want to be a billionaire, get in on the take. Every politician is in on the take. The Congress people, black, white, Congress, red, blue, chartreuse, all of them are in on the take. And all of them are getting rich. You have a lot of people in Congress and senators now who are becoming billionaires because of food prices. Because they realize the infamous, if you will, genius of this is that everybody got to eat. Not everybody drives a car. Not everybody has to rent a home. Not everybody has to buy a winter coat. But everybody, including babies, got to eat. It's genius. And if you can charge, every American got to pay you 300 to 400% more than they were paying you 5-6 years ago. Every American got to eat. Every American got to eat. Now, the Lord has told me to tell y'all that. That's why the prices of food is not going to come down. But here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going at this corporate greed. I'm going to expose it. Put me on the platform. Put me on the debate stage with Andrew Cuomo or Erica Adams or any of the others that are running for. Put me on the platform, and I'm going to expose it to the world. I'll tell the world exactly what's happening, and people will then wake up to what's happening. And so we'll then begin to examine, and we're going after corporate greed. We'll go after corporate greed by creating legislation here in New York where we can discern where the monies are coming from, that has sent the stock market from 20,000 going back 10 years ago to 44,000. It has doubled in size since Obama. The stock market has went from 20,000 to 44,000 points and climbing every day. And every day that somebody made a billionaire. So here's what they figured out. The one thing that everybody got to pay for, you got to have it, food, you got to have it. Number two behind that is medicine. Number two, everywhere you look, Ozempic, Jardins, all these medications, Wegovy, diabetic medicine, all these people are spending tons and tons of money advertising. And then, of course, there's medicine that you just need. And that's the second price, where the price gouging big pharma. You know, in other countries, you don't have to pay for medication. You don't have to pay for doctor's care. But so food and medicine, and listen to Pastor Manny, don't be a fool all your life. Don't let these congresspersons in Congress, I don't care if they're black, white, women, men, gay, straight, they're all in on it. They're all in on it. The mayors of the city, somebody sent me a note the other day and said, what did they promise you if they're going to let you be mayor? They must have offered you something. They're all in on it. They ain't promised me nothing. They promised I don't take it. You know, Pastor Man, I don't go take tea for the fever. You know me. But they're all in on it. They're all of the Congress people, the senators, the governors, they're all in on letting the food prices remain high. They're all in on it because that's where you get money from everybody. Listen, not everybody pays taxes. Listen, a 9-year-old boy going to school don't pay no taxes, right? He don't pay no income tax, but he eats. He got to eat. And they figured out this is how we can make billionaires hand over fist. This is how we can drive the stock market through the roof by raising the price of food and just keep raising it. And everybody's in on the take. If you're not a food supplier, food planner, then you're a congressperson that has oversight over what laws are passed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's in on it except me. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create legislation that will investigate Wall Street, the investors, the money that goes to Washington from New York, and the money that comes from Washington to New York in terms of federal funding. I'm going to investigate how the funds and why the stock market is skyrocketing at the price, at the rate it's skyrocketing at. By the way, here, let me give you an example. Out in California, they had these fires, right? People, thousands upon thousands of houses are burned down. An apartment that would cost, let's say, $2,000 a month before the fires happen, now you got to pay $4,000. And Governor Gavin Newsom is sitting out a decree that you can't raise the prices. But hell, when people need a place to stay, they're living in a hotel room with $300 a day. Even though Gavin Newsom said you can't raise the price from $2,000 to $4,000, people are going to pay it anyway because they need a place to stay. So it's a ripoff. So now people got to buy food. And all the people in politics today, they're in on it. Don't think because a politician is black or white or gay or straight or whatever, that somehow or another they're against food price. You don't hear none of them talking against it. And not one of them are telling you the truth about why food prices are so high. And they're jacking up even further, siphoning all the money you got will be going to buy food. And you won't be able to pay rent or buy medicine. Between food, rent, and medicine, I mean, you ain't got no money for nothing else. You ain't got enough money to go buy a bottle of beer and get drunk. Yeah, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to stand up and tell the truth. They're going to try to assassinate me, but I've survived assassination attempts. They're going to try to politically assassinate me. They're going to try to socially assassinate me. They're going to try to assassinate my character. They may even try to physically take me off the map. But I got the Lord on my side. But you got to listen to me. You can't be a fool. Or you got to wake up. These politicians, I don't care who they are, black, white, they're not for you. And the way they get in office is that they go to the billionaires. The billionaires will give them, they need at least $10 million to run their campaign. The billionaires will give them $10, $12 million. He can write it out of check. Ain't no problem with him. They're giving them money, and they run their television ads, they do mailings, they do all kind of stuff. They become a congressman. You don't give them nothing, and they don't owe you nothing. You got to stop being a fool all your life. I'm going to take over the largest city in America, New York City, the most powerful city on the planet, and I'm going to change all of this. First of all, I'm going to get rid of the taxation on food. That's the first thing. So how can you bring food prices down? Watch this. This is genius. This is God genius. I will bring the price of food down by at least 8% on the dollar the first day I take office. How am I going to do that? Because I'm going to create legislation, issue a decree that no taxes shall be collected on any food sales. Now, generally in supermarkets, they say they don't charge you taxes, but if you buy a fly swatter or you buy something else, a toothpaste, or they'll charge you taxes, and then they'll lump it all together. No supermarket under any circumstance, no matter what you're selling, whether you're selling beer or ice cream, or whether you're selling eggs or bread, you cannot charge any tax. You will not have tax in your computer system. That means you go into the supermarket now and you're paying, I don't know, $50 for some food, and they charge you $4.75 in taxes. You will save $4.75. The day I become mayor, you will save $4.75 on a $50 purchase of food. The day I become mayor, you will save $9 on a $100 purchase of food. The day I become mayor, you will save $18. If you purchase $200 worth of food, you will save $18 just like that. If you go to a restaurant, go to McDonald's, you order a big meal, Happy Meal, whatever it is, you order, Big Mac, quarter pounder, no taxes. You pay for the food, but you pay no taxes. So restaurants, any place food is sold, no taxes. But not just that. So right away, you're going to save $20 to $30 a week just on maybe $40 a week just on groceries. And that lowers the price of food by $40 a week without even creating legislation to go after these thieves that have come together in a conspiracy to raise food prices by using congresspersons, using senators, using mayors, and making sure that they don't create legislation to investigate why food prices are going so high. Nobody's out there speaking about it. Black, white, gay, straight, they ain't talking about it because they're all in on the take, except for me. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create legislation to raise the minimum wage to $27 per hour. That means that nobody working in New York under regular circumstances will earn less than $56,000 a year. Nobody. And that will be enough. $56,000 is not a lot of money, but at least Right now, the minimum wage in New York is $15 per. I mean, you're earning about $30 or $30,000 a year. I'm going to give the worker in New York a $26,000 a year increase, just like that. Now, somebody go, the people that work for the billionaires, the people that work for those that have arrayed themselves in a conspiracy to raise food prices, buy off politicians, so there will not be legislation to investigate or legislation to bring down prices or legislate to invest while Wall Street and while this is happening, they're turning a deaf ear, turning a blind eye. Your congressperson, your mayors, your governors, your council people, they're turning a deaf. Listen, what I'm going to do, when they start talking about, well, if you raise the minimum wage, prices are going to go up. No, they're not, because and it's synonymous, parallel, tandem to raising the minimum wage is that store owners cannot raise their prices. That way, if you go to the dollar store and you buy, something for $10, and the person working in the dollar store is now was once making $15 an hour, now making $27 an hour. And the dollar store has to keep that price, that $10 item, $10. Cannot. So, in addition to, but beyond that, that's simple. What you need to watch out for are for these snakes, these snake politicians, and these people that benefit from gouging, from stealing pennies out of dead men's eyes. They're going, you're going to raise the price. Stores are going to close down. When you hear that, you work for the man. Oh, I see you work for the man. You're out there shouting for the man, talking about prices don't have to go up. They're already making enough profit for them to have billion-dollar salaries. I mean, these CEOs of these corporations make million-dollar salaries. They got million-dollar homes in every city. The prices don't have to go up. What needs to be? Their income need to come down. The hell with prices going up. Bring the corporate headquarters, bring the investors, bring their profits down, bring their payments down, bring the money there, bring that down. That way you don't have to raise the prices. Very simple. That's what I'm going to say. So when you see somebody out there talking about, they have to raise prices, going to shut down business. Oh, you work for the man. I didn't know you worked for the man. Talking about Pastor Manning's plan to raise the minimum wage is going to cause prices to go up. You work for the man. Because that's what the man does. The man don't want to give you fair share. You ask for more money, he'll ask for higher prices. You work for the man. Oh, I said, I didn't know that about you. I thought you were down with the movement. I thought you were with the masses of the people. I know you were bourgeoisie. You out there hollering about Pastor Manning's plan to raise the minimum wage is going to cause prices to go up in business. You work for the man. You're threatening us. Talking about the business goes, you threatening, you got the man out there, you speaking for the man, threatening us going to shut down businesses. I didn't know you work right now. Your true colors are really showing. Because Pastor Manning is a man of God. Pastor Manning is telling the truth. Bring down these CEOs making all this money and got all these girlfriends and prostitutes and got all these houses all over everywhere and gouging and stealing and maligning as they go. You got over 1,000 billionaires in America right now that only paid less than 8% on their income while you pay 28%. And you talking about defending the man. Oh, I see who you are. We need to clone Pastor Manning and try to get another 500 Pastor Manning to send down to the Senate and send down to Congress, because the rest of y'all down there done sold out. You done sold out. Talking about you black and you proud. You done sold out. Sure you have. So that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do it. And the other thing we're going to do is that we're going, in terms of food prices, in the hood, in the neighborhoods, just underserved neighborhoods, ghettos like where Harlem is and Bed-Stuy, South Bronx. We're going to create legislation where no store owner owns a bodega, a little small store. He sells sandwiches and beer. He sells, potato chips and, a bunch of other stuff, toilet paper, all that stuff. It's a small store, no big Walmart or nothing like that. But a lot of people go to those stores. Well, we're going to create legislation where he doesn't have to collect any tax on anything he sells. That's that's brilliant. First of all, that if you go in there and you buy a case of beer, buy a bag of potato chips, buy 2 loaves of bread and a carton of milk, and it comes up to $25, and the tax comes up to, I don't know, whatever it is, the tax will be, he don't have to collect. All you have to do is just pay for the food, but no taxes. That's going to help him, the small store owner, because that's going to save him the headache of having to collect taxes and separate all that out in his daily or weekly or monthly or accounting to the tax people. He don't have to do that anymore. He's no longer beholden to them. But because you don't have to, you'll have an extra dollar or so to buy a chocolate bar, where you used to have that money used to go directly into the politician's pocket. That tax money you pay goes directly into the politician's pocket, and from the politician's pocket right to their girlfriends, you know what? He gives it right to his prostitute, right to his girlfriend. It goes right into her, well, anyway. So you cannot buy a chocolate bar because, oh, you got an extra dollar. And last year, when I came, I spent $25. I had to spend $27.50. But today, I only $25. I got $2.50 left over. Well, let me buy a chocolate bar. Oh, there's a little flower over there. There's a flower. Y'all see I got flower? Oh, let me buy a flower for my wife. Take a flower home. Take her one of the red roses. How much that cost? 35 cents. Give me that flower. Give me $1. That flower costs $1. Give me that flower. I'm going to take it home. I still got $1.50 left. That'll bring the food prices down. That'll increase your financial buying power in the ghetto. The ghetto will now have greater buying power, which they'll have more spending power on other things that they need, like clothing or rent or automobiles or transportation or vacations. Listen, you can go on a vacation to down in Jamaica or in the Bahamas. You can, with the money you're going to save on the Pastor Manning's policies of no sales tax on food, $27,000 increase in wages, and also no collection of taxes at these bodegas and delis and small. You can go on a month-long vacation in Paris, France. That's right, with the money you're going to save. You can upgrade your house, get yourself a big apartment. You mean to tell me because of Pastor Manning's policies, you got another $37,000 coming into your house, where last year that $37 was not even mentioned. You got $37,000 more each year with Pastor Manning's policies as mayor. Imagine what you could do if every year, starting next year rather, you had another $37,000 in your pocket, but you don't have to pay taxes on food. You're going to get a raise, $27,000 increase raise in your wages. Imagine $37,000. You know where that money's going now? It's going to the politicians and their girlfriends or their boyfriends, depending on, sometimes they, some of these guys are, people like that. Kevin McCarthy and all that crowd. Mike Johnson too. And Hakeem Jeffries. Hey, that's another one. Lord, wearing the most funny white shoes with white soles on Hakeem Jeffries, speaking like, anyway, let's do it. But so the thing of it is this, is that Manning for mayor is going to be for poor people. I'm going to be hated. The rich people are going to hate my living. They're going to hate me. But I don't care. I've been hated by people before. It won't be the first time I've been hated. But everybody rich going to hate me, including rich black people, right? The rappers that got all that money, they're going to hate me too, because they sell outs as well, They get up and they rap about the truth. They rap about police and think that because black people are always running in conflict with police, but they ain't gonna get up and tell you about it. They ain't gonna rap about Elon Musk. They ain't gonna rap about, they ain't gonna tell you the truth about Obama. They ain't gonna do that. Hell no, because they ain't on the squeeze. At any rate, everybody, you need to understand this is that the average worker now working for minimum wage will see an increase of $37,000 of income the first year that I become mayor. Imagine that. You can get yourself a 5-room apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms, and buy yourself a brand new car and still have money left over. With a $37,000 a year increase is what's going to happen to poor New Yorkers the day I become mayor. The day they sign me in and inaugurate me as mayor. And the other thing is this, you're going to see a lot of these people who are now gouging money, they're going to sell out their products and they're going to move out of town. These billionaires, they're going to move out of town because they know Pastor Manning is coming, and they know Pastor Manning don't play. Praise Almighty God. So keep praying for me as mayor of New York City. Hold tight. I'm going away for just a second, but I'll be right back. Here's the example of MAGA. So a man goes to the bathroom and he poops in the bathroom. There's no toilet paper. And so to clean himself, he uses his hand because there's nothing else. So he cleans himself with his hand. Now, he doesn't want to do it. Then he gets up from pooping and he doesn't clean his hands. Then he goes and gets in bed with his wife and he begins to touch her. He begins to wrap his hands and arms around his wife. The unclean, pooped on hands, he wraps around his wife. And he doesn't ever wash his hands. Well, the Lord said to me this morning in prayer that that's what MAGA is. They know that Trump is poop. They know it. They know that Trump is a diarrhea poop. They know Trump is poop. And they put their hands into the poop to support Trump. All right, everybody. So Trump is a national embarrassment. And if you were sickened by his inauguration, check this out. I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. I want to give a warning now that the things I'm going to say today here on this 21st day of January very well may be my very last broadcast. This very well may be my last broadcast in terms of freedom of speech and in terms of what they're able to do is censor me or in their algorithm of me. So pay very careful attention and preserve this, if you will, whatever you screenshot it or screen sound it or preserve it, put it on a cassette tape or put it on, if you will, a CD or whatever, because you may not get this back up. I may not get back up on social media platforms ever again. All right, so here I go. Now, I'll get started with this. If you were sickened by the satanic inauguration of Tribulation Trump on yesterday, then support my run for the mayor of New York City. If you give me your support, I and I alone will be able to expose Trump of his robbing and raping of the poor people of America. I'm the only man in America now that will be able to actually stand up and not sell out to Trump. I'm not afraid of him. He has no power over me, not even his presidential powers. Trump cannot even order the FBI or the CIA. I dealt with that with Obama. Obama put out a hit on me. Obama told the director of national intelligence to hit me, to put out a hit on me. I was preaching the truth against Obama, and the then director of the national intelligence, who later sent members of the Homeland Security and the Secret Service to my office, to my desk, to my door, to our church to question and query me. They gathered several New York City police officers, put them on building tops with long-range rifles, and they surrounded our church with police cars. Obama ordered a hit on me. The director of national intelligence, when heard that order, immediately resigned. And then the other director of national intelligence refused to carry out the hit. I'm yet alive. But Secret Service, Homeland Security, New York City police officers did come to my door and flood this church and this community with their implements of destruction, their weapons, etc. But there's nothing. I'm running for the mayor of the city of New York. There is nothing that Trump can do to me. I'm the only man on planet Earth of power and position that's not afraid of Tribulation Trump. Now, I'm going to tell you, God has gone ahead now since the inauguration and given him yet a third name, a third T. He's now known as transgender Tribulation Trump. And I'll explain to you what that means a little bit later on. But let me say this to you. If you were sickened by watching that orange-haired orangutan, watching that pathological liar, watching that rapist, and Trump is a rapist. He is a rapist. Watching him step outside of the limo, go into the rotunda, take a seat with that phony wife of his, that phony baloney hustler and streetwalker from over yonder in Romania somewhere, and sit down and then take the oath of the presidency of the United States. If you were sickened by that, knowing that this man is vile, that he is a liar, that he is a path, and I will stand as the mayor of this. I'm the only man in America that Trump can't touch. He can't touch this. He can't touch me. I'm the Lord's servant. He is the devil's servant. I will serve as a Lord's servant. I'll be protected, and I will speak boldly. I will speak proudly as a servant of the Lord against this rapist that is now the president or the alleged president, against this pathological liar, against this con man. I will speak boldly against him as the mayor of the city of New York. And I got a whole lot of tactics and plans against him. But he can't touch me. He can't lay a finger on me. He can't touch who I am and what I am. I can speak boldly and proudly and shall be able to expose him as to who he is. So now, understand this. Vote for me as mayor of the city of New York, the second most powerful job in America. Give me that platform. I need your support. I need your votes. I need your donations. I need you. If you are sick, if that made you sick to your stomach, knowing how vile this man is, knowing what he has done to America, knowing what he has done and will now do to America. If you want him exposed, don't look to the regular politicians, for they do not have the strength nor the protection of God, nor the courage, nor the truth. But I will speak against him the same way I spoke against Obama. And though Obama put out a hit on me, though Obama had his director of national intelligence spy on me back in the year 2008, 2009, and I put Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy, on trial right here in the same church where they surrounded me with members of the Secret Service. I will put this vile, pathological liar, this rapist called transgender Tribulation Trump, I will put him on trial. His vice president was right when he said in Hillbilly Elegy and in other times that Trump is America's Hitler. Well, I think that's a discourteousness to Hitler. Though Hitler was vile, Trump is a whole lot viler. Now, vote for me. I'm running to be the mayor of the city of New York. The world needs to hear my voice. The world needs an alternative. The people of God, the lambs of God, the sheep of God, the poor people of the world need to hear my voice. Though Trump has aligned himself with the billionaires of the world, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and the others, the poor people of the world need a defender. The poor people need somebody to stand up against these oligarchs. I am that person. Vote for me. Begin to support me, even if you live in another state. Go to our website at manningformayor.com. That's Manning for Mayor, all one word, spelled all together. manningformayor.com. 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 Go to our website, donate, get registered if you live in the New York City area. But I need donations coming in from all over the world. I will be a voice for poor people. I'll be a voice for people who are middle class. I'll be a voice for the working man. I'm the only man on planet Earth that will stand up and call Trump the rapist that he is, the liar that he is. I'm the only man. No one else would do it. None of these politicians, they're all weak-kneed and weak-eyed. They will not call Trump the rapist that he is. They will not. I did it with Obama, and I'll do it with Trump. I succeeded with Obama, and I will succeed with Trump. However, if you want to be protected from this vile, pathological liar called transgender tribulation Trump, vote for me, and that I may take the helm of the office of the greatest city on planet Earth, New York City, and the things that I will do when you hear about them will make your ears tingle. The things that God has given me to be able to do for the poor, for the sheep, for the lamb, for the man that works, for the family, for the children, for the schools. The things that God has given for me to do will make everybody who hears it will make their ears tingle. And none of my words will fall to the ground. The only thing that will fall to the ground with this pathological liar, I can take down Elon Musk. I can take him down. The only thing that props him up are lies and money. And both of those can be done away with the truth. I can take Elon Musk. I can take Mark Zuckerberg. I can take Jeff Bezos. And by the way, let me ask this question. Van Jones, who sits on that liberal bastion of lies and perversion CNN news desk, now talking about Trump aligning himself with oligarchs. Well, I'd like to ask Van Jones, why did you take $100 million from that bald-head boy called Jeff Bezos? Was it for sexual favors? Van Jones, did you take $100 million from Jeff Bezos for sexual favors? That's America. This is the kind of truth that needs to finally hit the ears of the poor. The truth that needs to be told of what the politicians are doing and stealing and robbing and maiming and gaming and claiming and leaving you to suffer with unprecedented food prices, unprecedented rent. You can't find a place to stay. Gas prices are through the roof. You need a voice like mine that will stand up to these wolves, stand up to these thieves and liars, stand up to them. Van Jones, you call yourself a liberal sitting on that bastion of perversion network called CNN. And yet, why did you take 100 million? You're talking about Trump and oligarchs. Well, you got some nerve. Why did you take $100 million from Jeff Bezos? Was it for sexual favors? Did you have...
Pastor Manning, you are the one to preach righteous and true. You're a sharecropper, son. Pastor Manning, the things you've been through, the Obama years.